So here I've graphed the ln x function, and again we have our tangent line, and we're going to plot the slope of this. So if you take a look at the red dot, that red dot is kind of a shallow slope. It's below 1 because the slope is less than 1. And as I get closer, as I move that point towards the x-axis, notice that that slope gets steeper and steeper and steeper. And notice that the red dot is going higher and higher. It's becoming more and more positive. And as I go more and more positive, notice that that graph is going higher and higher and higher. Okay, so in fact, this graph, as I go to infinity there, is going to get more and more infinite, and it basically traces out that red graph. Now that red graph happens to be a 1 over x function. Okay, if you plot a few points here, x is 1, y is 1, x is 2, y is 1 half, x is 3, y is 1 third, x is 4, y is 1 quarter. So the red shape is definitely the 1 over x function shape. So the derivative of log is going to be 1 over x. We can also graph e to the x, and then we can see what happens to e to the x. So again, we're going to do this. Now, e to the x is unique in that when we differentiate e to the x, we get the y value of e to the x. So notice what happens as I trace out this graph. The slope values at the x values end up being the same as the y values on the actual function. So it just traces out the e to the x function. So the derivative of the e to the x function is in fact itself. And e to the x is unique in this way in that the derivative of e to the x is itself. And it's the only function that does this. Now if we change the exponential to a different base, it still follows the same pattern essentially. Okay, so this is 2 to the power x. And if I trace out the tangent line, those derivative values, it really is the same thing. It's just it's the same exponential function, but now we have to adjust for the fact that we did not use a base e, so we get a just slightly different value here. Okay, but it's still an exponential function, so although it's not base e, it doesn't trace out right on top of itself, but it will trace out another exponential function.